Yeah.
Because we don't want foreigners speaking a foreign language
Citizens.
on our soil. In case you can't tell how gay
Their
this
soil, too.
CNN contributor clown is by his...
Oh, so I'm a gay CNN contributor clown. I guess 1 out of 3 ain't bad. I have been catching a lot of heat, a lot of anger from right-wing commentators for my apparently controversial, hot take that someone singing in Spanish on stage for 15 minutes is not an attack on America and is actually just not that big a deal with Bad Bunny. Didn't love his performance, didn't hate it. I'm fine with people not tuning in, changing the channel, tuning into Turning Point's alternative, but I don't view it as an attack on America for somebody to sing in a different language. Music transcends languages. Puerto Rican culture is a part of America. Got no issue with it being represented at the halftime show. Obviously, if every halftime show ever was in Spanish, that would be weird, but just doing it once, with one of the biggest artists in the world does not bother me at all. And you could quibble with some of the lyrics that he used. A lot of people are being fed misinformation about that, and I've talked about that because the actual lyrics that he used during the actual performance were edited for TV. They're not the super vulgar ones you see floating around on Twitter. Anyway, I've said all this, and I've said that MAGA seems, some people in MAGA, not everybody, of course, a lot of people have actually disagreed with the snowflakery, but high-profile commentators crashing out over it are acting like snowflakes, and I've said so. And I've gotten a lot of heat. First from Matt Walsh, we talked about that on the show, but now from a far-right YouTuber named Mark Deese, who has a lot of subscribers, a lot more than me, I think over 1 million, and he really did not like what I had to say in a tweet that got a lot of attention about this, and went on quite the rant about me that we're going to react to. I guess without further ado, let's listen, and I'll pause and give my thoughts on some of his commentary on the underlying situation as well, because it was strange. Let's listen.
By now, most people have either witnessed the cultural insurrection at the Super Bowl halftime show or heard that the entire show was performed in a foreign language.
Okay, I'm sorry to pause him so quick, but there's already so much wrong with this. First off, cultural insurrection, and it's somebody singing in Spanish for 10 minutes. It's an American citizen singing in Spanish. It's like, show me on the doll, my friend, where the dude speaking in Spanish touched you. It's not the end of the world. It is not an insurrection. Millions of people in America speak Spanish and sing Spanish, and Spanish songs play on the radio here all the time. Little did I know that Despacito from a few years ago was part of a cultural insurrection. Actually, just America is a melting pot and has lots of people with different cultures and languages, and they all blend together. And that's part of our big, vast, pluralistic society. And it's not a cultural insurrection. You sound ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Also, you're also just like, maybe this is a little pedantic, but you're also incorrect objectively. The entire halftime performance was not in Spanish. It was mostly in Spanish, but Lady Gaga did sing in English. So I do think it's significant that these people don't even speak factually about these things.
Language by a foreigner, a bisexual, of course, entertainer who goes by the name of Bad Bunny.
Did he just call an American citizen a foreigner? No.
Name of Bad Bunny, who usually wears dresses during his performance. First of all, for those who claim that Bad Bunny is an American, because Puerto Rico is part of America.
Yes? What? He's like setting this up as if this is this ridiculous straw man argument. For those who claim that a person who is born in America and literally is a U.S. citizen with a U.S. passport is an American, you mean anyone in touch with reality? I mean, maybe it's kind of a weird take, but maybe you think Puerto Rico should not be part of America. Puerto Ricans should all be stripped of their American citizenship. But right now they are citizens and they are Americans. Is this just a fact? How are we debating a fact? What are we doing here? Guys, I have more to say about this man, and we're about to get to the part where he rants about me being gay for some reason. But first, do make sure to subscribe, to hit the like button while you're at it, and please consider becoming a channel member. I push back on the far left and the far right, and frankly, the biggest way to blow up on YouTube is just to pander to one side, but that's not what I do. So call me PBS if you like, but I need support from viewers like you. Hit the join button or the link in the description to become a channel member now. You will unlock early access to full-length ad-free episodes with no annoying mid-rolls, interrupting me mid-sentence, and more importantly, you will help me support my content and expand, and you will make people like Mark here cry every time you sign up. So hit the join button now if you can. Now let's listen to more of this super normal rant.
America, well, it's a territory, it's not a state. And that's like saying Caitlyn Jenner is a woman. Okay, you can say that, but we all know the truth, that there's a big difference between an American territory and a state. They have their own history, their own culture, their own holidays, their own language. In America, Americans can vote for the president of the United States. Puerto Ricans cannot, because they're pseudo-Americans.
This is like just really, really strange. So he's saying that because Puerto Rico is a territory and not a state and doesn't get electoral votes for the presidential election as a result in the electoral college, that it's therefore they're not Americans. And the funniest thing about that is that it's also wrong. He's saying Puerto Ricans aren't really Americans because they can't vote. That's only true to the extent that they live in Puerto Rico. So I don't know where Bad Bunny lives, but say that like I was born in Rhode Island. If I move to Puerto Rico, I will now live in a territory and not a state, and therefore I will not be able to vote in a presidential election and cast a meaningful ballot. Does that make me no longer an American? I was before and now I'm not. And on the contrary, for example, one of our friends in Michigan was born in Puerto Rico and now she lives in Michigan. She can and presumably will vote in the 2028 presidential election as a Michigan voter, because even though she's Puerto Rican, because she is an American, whether you like it or not. Like I really don't. I'm the last person to jump to just like racism, but I'm really not sure what else could be motivating this bizarre mental gymnastics here to try to figure out a way in which Americans are not Americans and some Americans are more American than other Americans. I don't know, guys.
Pseudo-Americans. They're Americans on paper. They're Inos. They're American in name only. Most of them don't celebrate or care about Independence Day, the 4th of July, or Thanksgiving, or anything about American culture or the founding fathers or anything about us real Americans. Obviously,
that's an interesting statement with no evidence or basis whatsoever. I don't think he has any idea what percentage of Puerto Ricans celebrate the 4th of July or Americans founding or anything. You just say things, I guess. Also, like, yeah, non-Puerto Rican Americans spend a lot of time thinking about the founding fathers. Anyway, here's the part where he comes to my tweet. And
obviously, the only people other than the libtards who think that this was great are the rhinos, the fake Republicans who are always welcomed by the liberal media.
Pause on that. I no longer consider myself a Republican. I consider myself an independent. So go off, I guess.
Media industrial complex. Like this clown, Brad Polumbo, who says that a Spanish language Super Bowl halftime performance by a top American artist. See, they try to reinforce that fake news that he's an American.
No, well, because he literally is, factually speaking, an American citizen with a U.S. passport, and facts don't care about your racist feelings.
He's an American. No, I know. He's an American in name only. An artist is not an attack on American culture. It's a reflection of it. More than 40 million Americans speak Spanish. Yeah, which is a major problem. It's called assimilation. You're supposed to assimilate here.
Yeah, they speak English too, buddy. They also assimilate and they speak both. And we live in a multicultural society with a common culture that people should assimilate to, but it's still okay to have your own traditions and cultural heritage as well as part of that. Like oh no, I have to live in the same country as some people who also speak Spanish. I am much more sympathetic to the critique of people who come here as immigrants, for example, and don't learn English. I think that's crazy. Like, that's wild. But still having both is not a problem. Sorry, not sorry.
Here, you're supposed to come and start speaking our language, engage in our customs, engage and celebrate our holidays. In thriving American cities like Miami, where I live, it's commonplace. Of course, that it's part of the reason why America is becoming a hellhole, a third world hellhole.
Is the third world hellhole in the room with us? That is certainly not the impression that I have of Miami. I actually think it's a thriving and flourishing and very well run, very safe city, very clean, very well policed. Too much construction, lots of traffic, but a third world hellhole it is not. I would suggest that our friend here needs to touch some grass and probably get some sunlight as well out of the basement.
Hellhole. If you feel attacked simply by people speaking in or singing Spanish, you're the problem. Oh, we're the problem.
Yeah.
Because we don't want foreigners speaking a foreign
Citizens.
Language on our soil. In case you can't tell how gay
Their
this
soil, too.
CNN contributor clown is by his...
Oh, so I'm a gay CNN contributor clown. I guess 1 out of 3 ain't bad. Calling someone a CNN contributor, for people who are not in the political commentary industry, you might not understand this. I am not a CNN contributor. I have appeared on CNN, the network, 3 times. I've actually probably appeared on Fox News over 100 times. I'm also not a contributor there, never have been. A contributor refers to somebody who has a contract and is paid to be a regular talent for the network. So like Scott Jennings, for example, is a CNN contributor. I am not. So that's just factually wrong. And then you got me there, I guess. Oh, gay. It doesn't really have anything to do with our debate about the Spanish language and Bad Bunny, but I guess if you're really into identity politics, you can bring up unrelated stuff for no reason. All right.
His post. Well, here's 5 seconds of him speaking.
We got to talk about a controversial, to say the very least, social media post that Trump. Why am I kind of eating out on Truth Social last night? That is, I think most people would just say is pretty racist. And is
he's talking about the Obama ape meme. Of course, he's going to think it's racist. It's not racist, but even if it was, that would actually make it even funnier. We're making racist memes great again. Go back in the...
Oh, that was a lovely way to end that video. Go back in the closet. No? And not gonna happen. You're not gonna make us, and I'd like to see you try. That is why we have a Second Amendment, folks. I'll just say that. And listen, he's obviously, it's not just racist jokes to him. I think the context of this video we just listened to is actually, yeah, you're just racist or intolerant in some way. And that is, it's sad to me that people tune in to somebody so unserious and with such incoherent and unhinged presentation of the news and of different developments that so quickly just goes to invoking identity politics and like false claims to try to tear down stuff that makes them uncomfortable for whatever reason. And I would like to think that over $1 million or over 1 million subscribers, you could probably get a better green screen situation than whatever the heck that is. Hot take, my dude, but I think you can do better, and I'm rooting for you. You guys let me know what you think of this stunning and brave takedown of me from MAGA star Mark Dees. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. Do consider becoming a channel member to make the Mark Deeses of the world very sad and to support my content. And with that, guys, that'll be it for today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk again real soon.